the counterculture movement is at its height. You know what's also interesting about Star Trek, I've been thinking about this, is for such a progressive show, it's really technophobic. Like, it's constantly crying out about
destroying computers.
Right. About man's increasing reliance on technology. So it's really sort of at odds with itself because, I mean, the Enterprise is, you know, supposedly this grand, great technology with which we can reach to the stars. But at the same time, like, they're cautioning us that technology is bad. It's like, I don't know, maybe it's just nuanced. It's like up to a certain level, but humans still have to think for themselves.
I don't have to think for myself. I have a Samsung Galaxy S3.
Yeah, I have an iPhone, so Siri does my thinking for me.
Thank you, Siri.
And Siri would never send anybody to kill me.
All right. Or would she?
Credits.
So that's it for this week in the Star Trek Into Darkness Kingdom.
Yep.
Join us next week for our penultimate episode. Let that be your battlefield.
Yeah.
I want to say that being love.
What?
I want let that be your battlefield. I want to assume that in that episode title is love.
Oh, of course, because love is a battlefield.
Love is a battlefield. Whom gods destroy, the mark of Gideon, the lights of Zetar, I don't know.
That's a badass name.
Sounds like a
great paperback sci-fi novel,
right? Yeah.
That you'd find for 25 cents at half price.
Exactly. The Cloud Minders.
Whatever. Is that like a trapper keeper?
I don't know.
Like in the cloud computing? This show's ahead of its time.
The Way to Eden.
Okay.
And Requiem for Methuselah.
Okay.
That's what we have on tap for next week.
We only have 10 episodes of the original show left.
Yeah.
In 10 days, we will have watched the entire run of Star Trek.
In less than 3 months. How many Trekkies can say? I'm sure like
a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm sure like all of them.
Yeah.
In less time, I would assume.
And probably more lovingly than we have.
Well, you know, like we didn't go into it
with any preconceptions.
Yeah, we are honest about what we like, and we're honest about what we don't like.
It's true, and you know the show is definitely showing some wear and tear at this point.
Yeah. And like we said, this season 3 isn't the clusterfuck that we thought it was going to be.
It's just
not as good.
Yeah, and you know that's all because of Fred Freiberger.
And in 30 years, you know, there'll be 2 guys doing Community Into Darkness,
right?
And they're gonna be like, you know what, season 4, like it's not the clusterfuck I thought it was gonna be. Like reading like all these blogs.
It's just not funny.
It's not it's just not good. You know,
right.
it's not offensive. It's not like
it's just not groundbreaking. Yeah. That's true. And it's hard to keep up that pace when your budget has been slashed dramatically and your creative team has been through a forceful shakeup. What I assume would be a very forced shakeup.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm still there. I'm still finding episodes that I enjoy.
Yep.
And that, you know, and one of the nice things is, unlike a show like Lost, where you have to re-sit through the bad ones just to remember because they still drop things that you need to understand the narrative. Like the Nikki and Paolo episode.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, probably the worst episode of Lost. But it has some really vital character stuff for the other characters. Mm-hmm. I don't have to do that when I rewatch Trek. I can rewatch just the good ones.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, Empath, no thanks.
No thanks.
Has no bearing on anything else.
Straight to Spock's brain for me.
I don't have to watch the Empath to be like, oh, I have to remember, like, I'm not going to watch, Plato's Stepchildren and be like, why is Kirk all of a sudden, like, boning down with Uhura?
Right. It does, yeah, exactly. There's no previously on Star Trek.
Exactly.
There's only one 2-parter in the show's history. And while I love that longer form storytelling, this definitely has some advantages. So, how many lens flares? How many balls of red matter do you give this?
I give this 2.5 balls of red matter. Maybe 3.
I'd give it a low 3. Like, it barely scrapes through a 3.
Exactly. Like, if it were on Amazon, it would have 2 complete stars, and then, like, the 3rd star was, like, that little, like, you'd still see some white. You still see some white in that little, like...
If you've got 20/20 vision, you see some white.
Yeah, you see some white. That's how I feel about this week.
Yeah, me too.
All right, guys, thanks so much for listening. Remember, Facebook.com/Star Trek Into Dorkness. Listen to us on iTunes. Tell your friends. Tell your fucking dork friends about us.
Seriously. We would love to get that 20th like on Facebook.
Oh, my goodness, we would love it.
Oh, it would be so sweet.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.